So this tall, lanky plant is called Senecio crassissimus. And I might have been sharing with you that some of the Senecio have moved over into two different types of genera, Caputia and also Kleinia. And this one is actually one that happens to be continuing in the Senecio. And this one's, I believe it's called a little bit more like propeller plant or vertical Senecio, because as you can see here, they have these kind of flattened leaves that are more perpendicular to the ground, which just gives it this really cool look. Now this has been growing in my tea garden for quite some time. It actually started off as a pretty small plant, and you could see how much it's grown. I would say that I've probably had this plant for 5 or 6 years, and I have it directly in my southwest facing window, so it loves that kind of full sun. I have had it in this, kind of tea tin for a while. I haven't changed it out, although I did do a change of my tea tin garden and took out some of the ones that were looking a little bedraggled or a little bit too sun scorched. But this one has loved it. Now this one's actually native to Madagascar, so a lot of those plants in kind of that Madagascar area just could take a bombardment of sun and intensity of light, and you could see just with this kind of sagey kind of glaucous color that this is probably something that gets a bombardment of light, so is used to that. In the summer months, I'm kind of watering this a little bit more like once a week, and then in the winter months, because it gets a lot less intense light, it's usually like once every 2 weeks. And people ask me if I put a hole in the bottom of these tea tins. I do not. They do have a tendency to rust out after a while, so you do have to kind of change this. If I show, I can't really show you the inside of this tin, but it's starting to rust a little bit. And it doesn't seem to have any kind of adverse effects to the plants, as at least from my observational standpoint. Fertilizer, cacti and succulent fertilizer, you're not going to need to do it very often, but a 2,4,7 or a 3,4,7 is going to be perfect for this plant. And I have had not any pest pressures whatsoever. You could actually see that it probably, I got it cut right here. I clipped it. I don't know if you could see from the leaves, but it got clipped right here, which is why it's starting to branch out a little bit more, which I actually quite like that growth. So if you want to cut it back, propagate this, and then see it kind of branch out and have a little bit more branching, then you could actually cut off one of the growing tips as it happened here. And because this is on like my windowsill ledge and I'm always constantly putting my shades down and everything, these kind of have a tendency to like fall off my windowsill and get decapitated on their own volition. So that's probably what happened, but I've had this for so long that I have no memory of that at this stage of the game. But this is Senecio crassissimus.